Here's what we're going to do. My name is Kristen Ulmer, and I'm a fear specialist. Now, you may be thinking, whoa, fear. Yeah, I usually try to ignore that terrible feeling, and I get it. With fear being almost universally ignored or fought, I suspect you don't look to it as the solution to your arguments with your partner. You probably look to love as being the solution. Choose love over fear, right? But after years of facilitating the process you're about to learn with thousands of clients, I'm here to say that love will not solve your arguments. What will solve them is you have to first acknowledge where the problem comes from before getting to the love, and that's where fear comes in. All arguments, no matter what they're about, underneath, it always comes back to fear. Specifically, though, not the fear itself, but your unwillingness to feel or deal with your fear, which your partner is also doing in return, until you both wind up unconsciously projecting your undealt with fear on each other. In fact, your argument may not even be about your partner at all, but the argument you've been having with yourself internally by fighting or avoiding this primary part of you called fear. So what we're going to do then is bring your fear to the surface and let it speak. This works for a very simple reason. We start this process with you seeing fear not as a hindrance, but merely as a friend, child, or maybe employee in the corporation called you, whom you've been ignoring for years. Now, what happens when you ignore anyone? We all know that individual will now jump up and down or do anything to get your attention. In the case of fear, usually by hijacking your mind and running its agenda in a maddening, sticky loop. But if you instead turn towards it with consideration and let it speak freely, it calms right down, like any individual would, and will release you and your mind from its angst. Let's turn to that individual then and let it speak. Start by understanding that fear is a primary emotion that is with you every single moment of every single day in every interaction you have. And especially when you're in a vulnerable love relationship, fear is just going to be there. Now, to locate fear, know it's actually not in your mind, it's a feeling in your body. Once you start to own it, you'll notice it's just a sensation of discomfort in your body that may show up as stress, anxiety, angst, nerves, or whatever familiar name you want to call it. Or it may show up contorted in another way entirely, such as anger, feeling like a victim, jealousy, defensiveness, blame, or so many other ways. But can you see beneath these states lies, of course, the sensation of fear? Beneath anger is always fear. Beneath jealousy is fear. Locate that physical place where the discomfort of your arguments lies then. For me, when I argue with my husband, it's in my face, in my throat, in my chest. For other people, it may be in their belly. That's your fear. And now we're going to let it speak. If you're alone, get a pen and paper and start journaling the answer to this question. Beneath the argument, beneath this discomfort, what fear am I not dealing with that is causing me to behave this way? This is only about you, okay? Only about your fear. Then maybe you can share your words later with your partner. But if you two are willing to do this exercise together right now, out loud, in person, even better. Look to your partner then and put your hand on your discomfort and start talking from that place of your body only. Stay in your body. You do not want to get in your head. You may say, I'm afraid you might abandon me. I'm afraid you don't love me anymore. I'm afraid of getting old, fat, or ugly. I'm afraid I'm going to be fired from work. I'm afraid that the neighbor is out to get me. Speak all the things you're afraid of with abandon for 5, 10, 30 minutes, however long it takes, until you run out of things to say. Now, this is very important, but the listener just needs to listen. No trying to talk you out of those feelings. If they say there's no need to feel that way, I call that fear shaming, and it's inappropriate here or any time for that matter, because this is not an exercise to limit your fear, because that will only become another temporary band-aid. You both must resist the urge to quiet it down. Otherwise, you'll be doing the same old thing you always do, trying to ignore fear in favor of love, which, as we know, hasn't been working and is even causing your arguments, and it's not honoring your process. Their response should only be then clarifying questions like, tell me more, or a simple, life is a scary ride, isn't it? The other thing is no need to talk about where the fear comes from. No need to share why you're afraid of this or that, what has happened to warrant it, or discuss anything about your relationship, work, or the neighbor, or whatever comes up, as that is not fear. That is your thoughts about fear. Always stay in your body and speak of only what you're afraid of today. How you do this is you focus on your feelings, not your thoughts. I want you feeling your fear, not thinking about it. Then when you're done, without discussion about what was just revealed, switch and let your partner do the same. In summary, here's why this works. What's the definition of insanity? Well, trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results. If you've been looping the same argument over and over, that is because you are avoiding the fear beneath the argument. Do the exact opposite though, shift into the fear, and next thing you know, fear is no longer covertly operating under your radar, where you're reduced to projecting on each other like monkeys throwing their crap. Instead, with this process, you own your issues and your partner does the same, so you can each deal with your own fear without expecting your partner to deal with it on your behalf. You're also no longer living a lie anymore, and the fear will have successfully brought to your awareness your deeper truth of what's going on underneath the surface of your life and this relationship. New channels of discussion are then opened up, and you have set in motion a chance to resolve this argument once and for all. This is how fear turns then from a covert hindrance holding your relationship back to a resource that helps you become more and more clear and have depth of understanding about why you act the way you act and why your partner acts the way they act, until the fear actually becomes the teacher helping you both grow and evolve, not just as individuals, but as a couple. Which is why, if you're arguing a lot, love is not the answer. Turns out fear is. Fear, who was here to help you out, is what wants to be discussed next, and the argument was just fear's way of merely trying to get your attention. Visit KristenUlmer.com for more information.